Okay, Russ, so the facility here at Defense Soap,
Incredible.
world class, right?
Isn't it something?
Yeah, and so you are actually from Lorain County, right?
I was born in Lorain and I live in Vermilion.
Okay, so normally when I come out here and I tell stories and I talk to these guys, the Seikos, everything is we work with wrestlers, we are wrestlers. That's the big theme of what Guy Seiko will tell you, right?
Absolutely.
You're not a wrestler.
No, I am certainly not that.
What is your background actually? He actually said you were a Division I college athlete.
Well, I was a golfer for Miami University, the Redskins back then. And that was from about 1969 to about 1972.
So, you have a background in D1 athletics. You're from Lorain County. So this kind of, and you live in Vermilion. So you found out these guys were coming here. You just come down one day and said, hey, I want to talk to you guys.
Yeah, I actually saw their truck driving back home from the grocery store to my home, and I saw their Defense Soap truck. And my background is in consumer products. And I was told that Guy Seiko was making a soap for wrestlers, and that he was also making soaps to clean wrestling mats. And I thought, well, good luck to Guy Seiko. And that's all I knew. Then one day I drove by and I saw that truck. And when I saw the truck and I saw the branding on the truck, I said, well, this is more than a wrestler's soap. This is more than a product that appeals to wrestling. This is a brand, a real consumer products brand. And that's kind of what my whole background is building consumer brands. So I asked my friend Cliff German, who owns German's, the business right next door, if he knew Guy Seiko. He said he did. I said, well, I think I can help him. So I asked him if he would mind giving me Guy's contact information, which he did do. And I stopped in, I don't know, maybe a day after I spoke to Guy. We sat down for a good, I don't know, probably 4 hours. And we came to an agreement that or he felt that I could help him, and I think I can help him.
When you look at it, you were actually on the retail side of most stuff, right?
Well, what I've done over the years is to build consumer brands by taking them to retail market, big box retail.
Yeah, Walmart, Target.
Exactly, Walmart, Target, Home Depot, Lowe's.
You were probably dealing with Kmart, Kmart was a thing, right? Sears, Kmart, that type of thing, right? Things that they weren't very nimble and they're gone, right?
Yeah, and what's interesting is this constriction of the marketplace makes it more difficult for smaller niche companies like Defense to gain placement. They don't like to add new vendors, it's costly, and they don't like to add niche vendors, it's costly. When you're competing with Procter & Gamble and Johnson & Johnson and all of these huge conglomerates who are spending millions and millions of dollars with these accounts on advertising and marketing, it's not easy. So it takes a knowledge of how to approach the market and how to effectively make a compelling story to these retail buyers as to why they should carry Defense soaps.
So this is personal care, right? Personal care, it's not your field per se, but getting people into big markets, that is your field, right?
Yes, that's exactly right. And again, it doesn't make a difference whether the consumer product is a rival crock pot or whether it's a Casio calculator. They are really consumer products, and there's no difference other than what they actually do.
So when you look at it, you guys, this is a small company. We would call this a mom pop, right?
Yeah.
We would call it that, right? 10 employees are under, right?
Absolutely.
And obviously we just had this unprecedented thing just happen. A tsunami of economic change is upon us here in the United States of America, globally as well, right? He was talking supply chains to me, and supply chain management, and it's a logistical nightmare to me.
It is.
But getting and breaking into a new barrier and into a new market, how hard is that, and why are you specializing in that?
It is not easy, but it's what I do. What the most important thing, and I told this to Guy, is there's a difference between consumer needs, and in fact, everybody needs soap to clean their bodies. Everybody needs disinfectants to clean their home, particularly with this COVID-19 that we're facing. But it's one thing to manufacture a product that everybody needs. That's a terrific thing. But what separates stronger brands from weaker brands is to make a product that somebody wants. You need soap to clean your body, but you want defense soap. Why? Because it works better. And so that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to build this brand around providing a product that works better than the product that's currently available on retail shelves today.
What's your experience level with getting brands? Like who would you say, like brands you've worked with that you've been able to get into these large market spaces? Who are some brands that you've worked with? And you know, hey, when you come into someone, they want to know, well, tell me about your past.
Yeah, exactly right. Well, I started with a company that invented, believe it or not, a machine that when you were not home, actually answered the phone for you.
Oh, an answering
Yeah,
machine,
that's
huh?
it.
These kids today wouldn't
That's
know
it.
anything
They
about
wouldn't
that.
know anything
They don't even
about it.
talk on the phone
No,
anymore,
exactly right.
It's wild.
Yeah.
It's all text and videos
Absolutely,
and Snapchat.
absolutely. But
right?
what's interesting about that answering machine really then became voicemail.
Of course, yeah.
So it starts with something. So that company that I started with became the iconic brand in answering machines. It was called PhoneMate. And then what happens is PhoneMate was bought by a small Japanese company called Casio. And now I think you know Casio watches and Casio.
On my wrist right now.
There you go. There you go. There you go. So I helped Casio get into the U.S. market as well. I helped them get into the U.S. market with their video TVs, which were on a little, I don't know, looked like half the size of a calculator, almost the size of your cell phone. And they started in the audio video business, which ultimately they started in technology that was called LCD, liquid crystal displays. If you take a look at your watch, if you take a look at that calculator there, those displays are liquid crystal displays, which, if you take a look at this TV up here, this is a liquid crystal display TV. So I've worked with Casio. After Casio, I worked for a company called IT&T, which was International Telephone and Telegraph, not American Telephone and Telegraph, which is AT&T. And IT&T owns some brands that you may have heard of: Prudential Insurance, Scott's Turf Builder, Hertz Rent-A-Car. So I worked for IT&T for a while, and then after that, I went to work for a company that was in the home environment business. What is that? Well, that's anything that changes the environment in your home temperature-wise. So it's a cooling fan that you probably have in your home, a window fan.
Climate control.
And the same, a small heater, space heater, an air purifier, a humidifier. This was under the brand called Holmes. And then we split it off and we had sub-brands. We had Bionaire, and we had Family Care, and we had Patton. And then we bought a company.
Patton's huge.
Yeah,
Patton's huge. It's everywhere. I have Patton.
So we then bought a company. Our business grew to be about $780 million. And we were the category managers at Walmart. We were the category managers at that time at Kmart. also at Home Depot, also at Lowe's, and also at Target. And what that means is that they, Target, Home Depot, Kmart, want you and your service people to administer and monitor and manage their entire business in that category. So you also are responsible for your competitors to grow, not just growing yourself within those accounts. And that comes with understanding and them trusting that you understand more about the market than they do, which is what you must do to be successful. So we bought a company which is called the Rival Company. And Rival, you might have 2 or 3 of them in your home, makes crock pots.
Yes, we do.
And so we bought Rival when we were about a $750 million company because their brand was failing. Rival was losing market share, and we thought it was a unique opportunity for us to garner more business. We had grown our business in home environment to about as far as it could go. We bought Rival, and now we're in the kitchen appliance business. So they made a crock pot that looked like it was from the early 1950s. So we had established some new technology in home environment. We had timers, we had remotes, we had thermostats, all digital using LCD displays. And we did that so you could better control the environment in your home. So what we did is when we bought Rival, we felt that they're not on the leading edge of technology that was going to grow their business. We thought it was a huge opportunity. What did we do? We put a timer on a crock pot, and then we wrapped it in stainless steel, because appliances in your home, kitchen appliances in your home, were all stainless steel. Not, this, I can't remember the color name of the green, that pea green, which, years ago people had pea green refrigerators and pea. So that's what Rival was doing. We changed them. We changed the whole paradigm as to how they went to market. And we grew that business, which when we bought them, they were about, a $280 million company. We grew them to be over $1 billion. We sold our company, which was called the Holmes Group. We had bought Rival. We sold the Holmes Group to a larger conglomerate called Jarden Consumer Products, and we sold ourselves to them in about 2005. I left them in 2005 and did some entrepreneurial things on my own regarding branding. And from that point in time, I worked with companies like Whirlpool, Hunter Fan Company, Maytag, Amana. So I've had this long history of working and building brands in the North American consumer marketplace.
So, you sit there and you say Whirlpool to me. Whirlpool, Clyde, Ohio, Whirlpool, huge,
Correct.
They make washers, dryers.
They make them in Clyde.
Yeah, they make that stuff in Clyde. And I'm from Oak Harbor, so that was.
Oh, are you really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I know that Clyde, when you bring that one up, Hunter Fans, I have some hanging in my ceiling.
Exactly.
In my home. You're talking about these massive brands. What's the goals here, Russ? You've done all this. You've had this full life of integrating brands into larger markets and helping grow their success, rebranding things. Essentially, when you talk about the crock pot, what do you care about soap in Vermilion, Ohio, and Geiseco? What draws you to them, and what's the goals here?
Well, I think ultimately the goal is to make Defense a national brand, not just a wrestling brand. And we do that by broadening the base. So we're not just trying to appeal to wrestlers. We're trying to appeal with Guy's technology on the formula that he has for his soaps that have natural antimicrobial properties to broaden the base. So we're now looking at baby soaps and baby washes. We're looking at women's soaps and washes. We're not just going to be cleaning wrestling mats. We're going to be cleaning yoga mats. So we're doing a lot of things that are going to broaden the base which will allow us to be more relevant in these national retailers.
And you're expanding into new markets.
Absolutely.
Gym wall mats. Like a gym wall, those got to be washed.
Yeah.
Kids can get something in physical
Absolutely.
education class. There's all these, like when you a yoga mat, right? Like you've tapped a whole nother market.
Exactly.
Right? And the big ones here is wrestling and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Those are the two real big markets that this is, like a culty underground thing, right?
Exactly right.
And to expand it nationally, everyday bar, right? Everyday bar, everyday soap. Well, I wash my kids 7 days a week.
Yeah, I heard you talking.
No, it's a real thing.
Yeah,
It's like some guy asked me, he's like, how good are these products? I'm like, I don't know. You guys see how much
I
I
heard you
shoot
say.
videos and love my kids, and that I'm like, most important thing to me is being a dad.
Right.
So if that's my most important thing, and trusting their brand to clean my kids and keep them healthy,
Right.
that's a big responsibility.
Absolutely.
And it's like it's easy for me. This is an easy sell for me to
Right.
sit and talk about it. I don't feel like I'm giving anybody snake oil.
Yeah, and then if you take a look at the reviews that this company has on Amazon, they average 4.8, which is incredible. I mean, absolutely incredible. It's unheard of. So the product itself is a quality product. And I think long term, that's really the sustenance of this company. He wants to do everything so that it works, making sure that it works better than any other product out there. And that's what he's instilled in the people that work here. I think that's what's going to allow him to broaden his base into these other markets. And I think it's going to really catapult him to be an incredibly successful major soap company in the U.S.
Anybody who's driven, anybody who wants to do something at the highest level, they have goals. What are your goals for Defense Soap? Where do you want to see this company go? Whether it's market value, whether it's employee size, whatever it may be. How can you quantify to me your goals and what their goals should be, and what you the vision?
It's a great question. The other thing that I do is I take a look at businesses from a financial perspective. So what I've done is we have to know, if you're going to be successful in any business, you got to know what your cost of doing business is. What is your cost of goods? Your true cost of goods. How much does this building cost? How much did you pay for it? It's not separate from your product costs. So what we're trying to do is to put some processes here in place that allows us to maximize our profit potential wherever we sell a bar of soap. Understand that there's a process that goes into successful selling and marketing a product. I believe, and the goal here is to get this company to be a $50 million company within 5 years. I started effectively May 1st. So the clock is counting.
What did you give them? You said a 5-year, so May 1st, 2025. We're looking at this company will grow by over 10 times.
Correct.
That's your goal.
Correct. The market has an 11% compounded annual growth rate. So there's no reason that this category, we can't build this company in line with what the projected compounded annual growth rate is for this industry.
What's the biggest thing you see that, like, you come in right away and you're like, there's things that are jumping out at you, right?
Absolutely.
What are the things
right.
that are jumping out at you, like, hey, they can do better here. I can help here. I can help you in this space. What are the things, and what do you think you bring, your strength? What's the biggest thing that you can see that you can help them improve upon?
Well, it's so easy to say you need to broaden your market. It's very easy to say. It's not easy to do. Because if you're going to broaden your market, what does it take to do that? You need new products that have to be developed. So it's important that you instill a new product development procedure here that has timeframes, that has toll roads, that looks at investment, return on investment, and that's what we're trying to do. So if we're going to go and expand into the women's soap market, we have to make sure that we understand where the opportunities are in that market and make sure we can play in that market, and then go after that market with the products that we develop.
You're 5 weeks into this thing. Wrestlers are just different, man. We're just different people. Guy was a police officer for Cleveland for 25 years, a wrestler. Everybody out there has some type of wrestling background, right? You're just not that. You don't look or talk.
Well,
Or
I wrestled intramural at Lorraine High School.
Okay.
Just so you know.
But you're not like your typical knuckle dragging, mouth breathing wrestler, man. You look and act very differently than most everybody who Guy associates with. And listen, I'm one of those. I'm in that group of people I just painted that brush with. Right?
Yeah, I got you.
So I understand that, right? But what have you learned about wrestling? What have you learned about like how these wrestlers operate and what they do?
I haven't learned much because I've been so busy trying to learn the business. Not the wrestling business, but the soap business, the disinfectant business, the shampoo business, the baby soap business, the women's soap business. So I've been really spending much more of my time doing that than learning about the wrestling market. Though these guys know the wrestling market. I'll tell you that I could learn all day about wrestling and this wrestling market, but I need to learn more about these other markets where this $50 million is going to come from.
What do you think of the work ethic of these guys? What do you think of? They're kind of crazy a little bit. They kind of like go pretty hard at it, right?
Well, I'll tell you, I'll tell you what I've learned. I've learned that 40-foot square wrestling mat weighs about 8 tons.
You were in on that? You were in on that?
Are you kidding me?
Oh my gosh. So
it took how many guys? It took 7 guys taking this rolled up mat.
3,000 pounds.
Yeah, that's what it's 3,000 pounds. And we put it on, oh my God, we put it on office chairs
You're
to
learning
try and roll.
more than you think
Oh,
you're
that's
learning
exactly
about that. You're
right.
learning a lot more.
Well, I know now about wrestling mats, I can tell you that.
All right, if there's anything that I miss anything, I love asking questions and hearing about economics and global conglomerates and buying and selling companies and international trade and moving brands forward. You know, if there's one thing, like, do you think they can get to their goals here? Do you think that they can compound with the market and they can be nimble and limber and add lines and do what they need to do? Is there anything that any doubts in your mind that they can't do that?
No, there is no doubt. He is a unique individual. In our business, it's hard to find people with sustained passion. And he has a passion, not just for wrestling and being in that wrestling market. He has a passion for making sure that what he is producing is the very best. And when you have that passion, it's not just in the soaps and in the formulas with the soaps, it's with the people that he does business with on getting the containers that the soaps go into, the supply chain challenges that he's had. He wants to make sure he's doing business with people that understand those challenges, that are the best at what they do to solve problems. And to me, I've known him now, I guess, going on 5 weeks. And I know one thing. I know he's a good man. I know he's a great father. And I know he's well-intended.
All right, Russ. You got anything else for me? You got anything else for me? Any stories?
Hey, listen,
good?
no.
The mat. Sounds like moving the mat was horrible.
Oh my God. There was something else.
Yeah, I hear you.
I mean, I've never, so they have, it's 40 foot long by 40 foot wide, and it's rolled up. So the thing is like a 40 foot hot dog.
Yeah.
And so they have this overhead crane inside the truck, which I've never seen before, and they strap one strap in the middle of this 40 foot long hot dog.
Yeah, and it bends.
It bends.
Yeah.
It was going nowhere.
Dragging.
It was going nowhere.
Wow, that's terrible. All right.
Hilarious.
All right, I got a couple things I got to tell you off camera. Hey, thank you for the time.
You got it.
I can't wait to see the growth, all right?
You got it. I promise you'll see that.